Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. So I'm gonna be like super out of practice here. Because I do the what on earth? I told you, dude, we always start with the weird blood tiers. We never, we re-roll into them or we start with them. We never pick them up. Not that I'm complaining. 04WJ, ZNCA. It's fun to start with the ZNC. Okay, well, you know, what I was gonna say, I did not mean to fight you this quickly, but it's a great segue. Thank you, Crack the Sky. It's a great segue for me personally. What on earth is going on there? Because I'm out of practice. I'm probably gonna be out of practice. I just got back from New York, and boy, are my arms tired. It's a black market. This is a very strange run, right off the bat. So, you know, at the first point, it's been, we'll take chaos. Let's embrace the insanity of this run. Might as well try to give you a little bit, but I doubt it's going to work out, and then I'll blow you up, hopefully get a red heart. Didn't get a red heart, got some more bombs. I'm just trying to leverage that demon judgment before we leave. But I just got back from Champions of Fire yesterday. Before Champions of Fire, of course, I was doing, like, backloggy stuff. We gotta try it. But as usual, I didn't really need to do too much backlogging for Isaac because, you know, with one video of Isaac a day, if I record 5 or 6, pardon me, I guess I'm not going to worry about that penny. We can get it, it's just going to be a little tedious. You know, if I record 5 or 6 Isaac in one day, that gets me good for, like, almost a week. All I need to do is do that once or twice a week, and all of a sudden we got like an outrageous amount of Isaac content. So it's probably been like nearly a week since I actually played Isaac. Now, despite saying I'm out of practice, I think we've actually made some okay decisions so far on this run. I mean, Crack the Sky absolutely destroyed Ragman. Not that that is really too much of my own doing. I think I'll probably stick with Crack the Sky over Book of Sin, but I'm happy we got Book of Sin, so at least we can work towards Bookworm, which might work with these blood tiers. And again, you're going NL. Why don't you learn the name of the item for real? Because I never pick it up. I picked it up 1 time. Maybe 2 times, now that I think about it, but not enough to really commit the name to memory. It just never shows up except in this very strange circumstance. So I think that I will sing a song about buying Eden's soul. If I could get the battery, its charge would become whole, and I would get 2 excellent items that could win me the game. But if I spend 15 cents on nothing, that would be a shame. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, verse 2 of 35. Here we go. If I could get a battery, then that would be quite fine. Now it's just, I just can't wait to be king. How are we gonna do this? There's nothing to blow up that's likely to give us enough money to get the battery charged, so I think I'm gonna check the curse room real quick, and, okay, I like it. And we got 3 spirit hearts out of it, which I don't wanna... Okay, that's fine. I don't necessarily want to think about this too hard just yet, but with this many spirit hearts, in theory, we could go pick up something from the black market that could kind of take us to the next level. Because we're going to have 2 cents. No, we're going to have 1 cent. But we could blow up a greed down here. I'm trying to think, like, deep pockets. Does deep pockets give you a card or something? Oh, wait, just buy the 9 volt. Yeah, wait, that's like way better. And then, I don't think we really care where you use Eden's Soul. It gave us 2 deal with the devil items, so I have no idea if that was like working as intended. I probably should have died and then come back as Dark Judas just to get that damage bonus, but we'll go back and take Crack the Sky. Obviously, 100% should have taken that opportunity to grab the extra penny, but dude, have you seen what we've gotten on this floor? Blood Clot Chaos, 9 volt, Judas's Shadow, and then Ceremonial Robes. So we're in just an unbelievably strong situation, mostly as a result of the incredible RNG that we've been, you know, given today. Maybe I'm not as out of practice as I thought. That one bomb just twisted things up, made it like work completely fine. Because that bomb is where We got the bomb. Let me put it this way. The bomb allowed us to get into the secret room, which also gave us more bombs, which gave us the bombs necessary to get 3 spirit hearts on the curse room, which gave us the HP necessary to take 9 volt, which gave us ceremonial robes and Judas's shadow. Sorry, I was doing an audit in my head to make sure that all worked out. And I think it did. I think that's an accurate assessment of events. So we are now, we just got Rune Bag. Rune Bag is like a completely, you know, more than acceptable item. My kind of dream scenario here is that we get to get a deal with the devil that allows me to productively sort of lose my life, there, ergo doubling my damage and also picking up whatever the heck else we get inside of here. Because, like, he's toast. As long as he gets hit by 1 crack the sky beam, this guy's dead. And we get Bob's Curse. And we get Perthrow. And then we get nothing. Well, not true. We do get the ability to Perthrow Bob's Brain, which gave us Bob's Bean. That's not very good. Would I rather have Bob's Brain than Bob's Bean? Well, that depends on what I had for lunch, you know? If I'm in a foreign country and Bob's Brain is kind of a delicacy, I might consider it. If I'm just hungry, I might prefer Bob's Burger, to be honest. But, you know, you gotta respect Bob's Bean. It's a low glycemic index, slow digesting carbohydrate that's rich in fiber, good for your heart, right? I'll support Bob's Bean until the... I know it's not called Bob's Bean. I'm just trying to... Look, we're going to be doing this video for a while. Sometimes we're going to have to take larks on commentary. We're going to have to take flight. It'll happen. Let's try this again. Second time's also a charm? I mean, you can't really say... If the first time is a charm, that kind of invalidates the third time's a charm statement. You can't go, oh, third time's a charm. But also, the first time was pretty good. Exclusively, you gotta save that for situations in which the first and second time were not charms. I am slipping into the Jerry Seinfeld impression a little bit. What's the deal with things that people commonly say they're not 100% correct? Come on. Feeling like we got an extreme leg up on the competition. We are missing a couple of things that would benefit me. Speed and rate of fire are the big ones. I'm not really going to bother looking for a secret room there. I don't like the room layout. The feng shui seems off. I'm going to try this one. Ended up not working out. Life goes on. I'm going to try this one. It's the benefit of having bombs. We did get a second secret room with 5 runes inside of it. I don't think we want Awaz yet. Unless we get a better rune. That was Dagaz again, I think? So we do want to use the Awaz rune because we have Yera now. We can also Yera the Awaz runes to try to get more payouts, but I think that is foolhardy. Let's put it that way. Alright, down to the next floor, behind schedule, but not really that far behind schedule when you consider like what we did on the first floor. And what we do in the shadows. Great movie. I don't know, I don't think I've recorded an Isaac episode, so like, it's been a pretty outrageously busy last few days. What does this have to do with what we do in the shadows? Look, you wouldn't understand, okay? I'm gonna Yera this, and I'm gonna pick both these up. It's just a different, and dare I say, novel way to use the Yera rune, is to get some extra black hearts and play this Demon Judgment. Again, we probably should be thinking about making ourselves, you know, die and come back to life as Dark Judas, but anyway, like, I can give you, like, my synopsis of the past week. So, on, dude, you're kind of harsh on my vibe here. On Sunday, but this is several Sundays ago by your Earth metrics, I was like, I got Champions of Fire this weekend. I got a lot of homework to do. So I literally did, like, the Sunday subscriber show. And then I did 14 hours of programming homework. I always say 14, but it was more like 10. I don't want to exaggerate too much. It was still a lot either way. Then on Monday, my wife came home from being away on an excursion. Picked her up from the airport. Tuesday was my birthday. She said, hey, let's go get lunch. It'll be fun. I said, yeah, okay, fine. I'll take a Tuesday off. We'll go get lunch. I didn't stay like, okay, fine. You know what I mean, though. You know, I'm a creature of habit. I do the same thing all the time, unless, you know, an equal and opposite force. It's Yara. But it Yara itself, which is a new one, I think. By my personal standards, at least. And then, surprise, surprise, she had flown my parents in for my birthday from, like, across the country. Unbeknownst to me at all. It was amazing. It was a great surprise. I was very surprised. So, Tuesday, Wednesday, I hung out with them. That's why I canceled the show last Wednesday, because, you know, I see my parents, like, 2 times a year, and I was like, I'm not gonna do a stream, and I'm just gonna, you know, have dinner with my birth givers. Anyway, forget that. Thursday. Champions of Fire. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Champions of Fire. Monday, a little bit of sleeping in, flying out of Champions of Fire. You know, it's been a very, it really was like a 5-day event, essentially. A lot of fun to be a part of, but a lot of time investment as well. So, I've been, like, not recording, essentially, for quite some time. You know, I had, like, maybe one good recording day, like last Saturday, but that's like 10 days ago, man. Apart from that, it's been Angular, time spent with my parents, playing mobile games on twitch.tv/Amazon App Store. So I'm ready to be back in my wheelhouse. It's a good time, I think. I'm feeling settled. I'm feeling like I'm back in the routine. I don't feel like I'm playing that badly in Isaac, to be honest with you. Although, I still continue to be making, like, one higher-order strategic mistake, which is find this opportunity to respawn as Dark Judas, because, you know, the 4.8 damage is not bad, but it's not going to carry us forever, you know? And I know it's deceiving because we have Blood Clot, but still. We'll take Cat of Nine Tails for certain. Helps out with that quite a bit. Plan C. Yada-dee-dee-dee-doo. Plan C. Look, I'm not Damon Albarn, okay? But the reason I transitioned into that is because I've been watching, like, so many more movies than ever before in my life. Because, you know, when I was doing all my programming homework, I was putting movies on in the background. Is it like we have double per throw now? I had movies on in the background because it was boring, and people go, oh, it must be nice to have homework that you can do while you have movies on in the background. It's really just, like, many of you are doing the same thing right now with this very video, right? Just background noise. And honestly, like, 20% of my homework was writing code. The other 20% of my homework was Googling and then finding the relevant Stack Overflow post for, like, what do you mean view is not a recognized command? You know, try running it as root/administrator, like... Dude, that's Sacred Heart. That's incredible. Onsus? I think we'll just take Onsus. Speed us up a little bit. Maybe we can do boss rush. So, I watched What We Do in the Shadows again. Great mockumentary about vampires. And then, coincidentally, on the flight back 2 days ago, I watched a 2013 film called Only Lovers Left Alive. Also about vampires. Also very good, but in a different way. Very, like, it's quite an arty movie. It's by Jim Jarmusch, if you're familiar with Jim. He did a movie called Broken Flowers with Bill Murray. It's not his most famous work, but maybe, like, his most popular contemporary work. But no, a lot of vampire movies recently that, for whatever reason, have been hitting the spot. Mostly because they kind of twisted on their heads a little bit, I think. A lot of you are probably going to be like, I haven't seen Only Lovers Left Alive. A lot of you are probably going to be like, I saw it and I didn't like it. I can understand both of those. I'll admit, it was one of those movies where a couple of times over its runtime, despite being in an airplane, I, you know, clicked on the screen and went, how much time's left in this? Because I'm just they haven't sucked anybody's blood yet. So when's the blood suck? I kind of signed up for the blood sucking, not in a, you know, a weird way necessarily. Just see the, okay, I mean, I would just recommend it, okay? I don't think it's on Netflix. I don't know if they put the Jim Jarmusch movies on Netflix. Seems like more of a Criterion connection, the Criterion Collection sort of guy, I should say. Can't say for certain. I would recommend it, though. I also watched, like, the first 3 episodes of the 3rd season of Fargo on television. Great show. Will I ever see the remainder? Probably not. I have a bad habit. It's happened to me a lot. You know, I watch, like, the first 5 or 6 episodes of a TV series on an airplane, and then just look up the spoilers when I get home on Wikipedia. I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi was doing a great job in dual lead roles, though. I gotta admit. It almost happened with Game of Thrones. I'm glad I didn't... But back in, like, 2012, I took a flight, and I watched, like, 3 episodes of the 3rd season of Game of Thrones. The first time I had ever seen anything related to the show. Except for people online being like, it's awesome. And I was like, maybe I'll go home and just Google the whole story. I'm glad I didn't do that. But I dodged a bullet there. Happened with Enlightened, the HBO series with Laura Dern that nobody remembers but was actually pretty good until it got canceled like out of nowhere. Anyway, this is now Ryan's mundane airplane stories. I don't have any other mundane airplane stories. The flights were relatively pleasant, to be honest with you. I wish I had more fuel there, but I don't. The loop was basically the same. You get on the airplane, you go, why haven't we taken off yet? Then eventually you take off. Put on a couple of movies. They come around and ask you, sir, would you like something to drink? You go, yeah, I'll take a Diet Coke. And then they give it to you, and you remember, I should have asked for it without ice, because then the cup's half ice. I know this is like the oldest stand-up comedian bit in the world. And the people, I should have just black-ruined that, but the people running the airline are smarter than I am with regards to this. They have experience with regards to this. They might be smarter than I am objectively across like all spectrums. But anyway, the point is, if you've never flown before, when they come around, they go, sir, would you like something to drink? You go, sure, I'll take, you know, blah. I'll take an apple juice. I'll take a soda. I'll take a whatever. If you get something that's in a can, they give you a little plastic cup, fill it with ice, and then fill it with, you know, up to the highest maximum fill line with the stuff from the can, and then they save the can to use later. I understand on a fiscal level that is an attempt to be a money-saving endeavor. You know, if every time somebody orders a drink, you're only giving them half a drink, you only have to use half as many drinks, you save a little bit of money. However, and sometimes they'll give you the can if you ask for it. Every time it happens, I just find myself wanting to do like a protest, basically. Because when they come around the second time, and they ask you for, you know, you want anything to drink, I'm like, yeah, I want the other half of the drink that I ordered earlier. So I feel like not everybody's in the same boat as me, but because they serve me half as much, I order twice as often. And it's like the drinks are free, at least like, you know, non-alcoholic drinks. And if you try ordering like a, you know, a wheatgrass smoothie, you might have to pay because you'd have to land first. But I also wonder, is it like the dude who invented the first airline, his brother-in-law owned like a plastic cups factory? Like, it just seems like a lot of waste. It already comes in an aluminum cup. Could you just make it a habit to give people the whole cup? Again, the whole can, I should say, but again, people are going to be like, you can just ask for the can. You can. They'll give it to you, because I think that they've also, you know, they've been trained to be like, somebody asks for the can, it's not even worth your time to argue, just give them the can. It's like, you know, 30 cents worth of soda. But do we even have to, like, I'm also thinking about, like, the labor cost of the flight attendant. Could be doing anything else. Instead, they're up there, you know, cracking into cans of soda and pouring half of it into a cup, and then they have to come back and get the garbage that was made from the cup that they gave you. Like, maybe this is one of those things people always go like, well, by replacing watercress with radicchio in the salad, the airline saved $18 billion per year. But, like, I get it. It's expensive to run an airline, but, like, I almost feel, and maybe this is why I'm in this business instead of the airline business, because I think the only thing stopping me from opening a business that requires literally tens of billions of dollars to get into is the fact that I don't understand this aspect of the business. But, oh my lord. The one boss it would have been perfect to land our shot on. We missed. No, that's why would you go for the one that's further away, my dude? Anyway, we got 99 homing poison bombs that we can place very quickly, so... There we go, finally! I mean, we can't even black rune any of this. You definitely should take that. Forget it, why not, dude? Forget boss rush as well. We're just gonna keep moving on here. I don't know why, even with Sacred Heart, it feels like we're kind of slow. If somebody came over to my house and asked me, like, hey, do you have anything to drink? I'd be like, yeah, you want a soda? They'd be like, sure. I crack into a can of soda, pour it into a plastic cup. What are you doing? No. It's so not worth this room. This is the right time to come back as Dark Judas, because our first life is going to be Dark Judas, right? Because we picked it up in order. If I'm wrong here, I'm wrong, and we'll figure it out pretty soon, but... I think my first life is Dark Judas. No, okay, so 9 lives always takes precedent. I did know that at some point in the past, at some juncture in my life, I forgot it, and instead started to think that it was exclusively... the order that you picked them up in, but it's not the case. And then I put the other half of the can back in the fridge. I think they'd be like, my dude, you're kind of being a bad host right now, and they would be correct. The other thing is that my friend isn't paying, you know, $200 to $700 to be sitting in the chair in my living room. I get offended sometimes when I fly, and it's not really, like, fair. Because, again, if you will ever watch the Roundtable podcast, I'm like... I'm fairly pro-business. Like, if you were gonna characterize... I'm trying delicately to step here, which is why I've entered into kind of like a stutter state. Play this for a while, if the equilibrium sustains itself. You know, whenever we talk about, like, a company doing something that's mildly bad, I'm not talking about, like, EA milking Star Wars Battlefront, which we all went off on. My takes are not quite that hot, but... whenever a company, you know, they're like, it's switching to a subscription model instead of free-to-play, you know, Bear is like, why are they making people sad? And then Nick is like, capitalism is the root of all evil. And Mathis is like, if they just did things the way gamers wanted, they would make $1 billion and there would be no problems. And I'm like, well, maybe they looked at the balance sheet and they decided that after market research, blah, blah, blah. I'm characterizing myself there as well. I think, if anything, I'm perhaps the most hilarious of the group in bending over backwards to oftentimes support business, but for whatever reason I come by it honestly. But, you know, when you pay to be on an airplane, I'm kind of like, you know what? Service is rendered. We're good. When they come around and ask if you want to buy any food, I understand. I'm not suggesting that because I'm on, you know, a 3-hour flight, that I deserve to get a free meal. You know, that's what the airport's for. You buy something there. You eat there and then you get on the airplane. When they come around and they're like, hey, here's duty free. Hey, would you like to sign up for the American Express credit card? Like, that's the worst, and thankfully, and I'm not trying to insult any particular country here that rhymes with Schmamerica, but when you fly the Canadian Airlines, at least Air Canada, one of the 2 Canadian airlines, I have never encountered a situation where you're watching a movie, and then the movie cuts out because they're making a passenger announcement, and then the announcement is, ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Have you ever, met a girl that you tried to date? You wanted to make love, she wanted you to wait? Let me tell you a story about my situation. No, I mean, obviously that never happened. The whole plane would break out into Bismarckies. You got what I need. Instead they go, you know, most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting our descent into the Atlanta International Airport. But, I think we'll just use Black Rune for the tower back there. Terrible dodge, dude. Terrible dodge. But, sometimes they'll get up. I think it's the last time this happened was when I flew Delta. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy your adventure in the sky, why not fly to somewhere for free with the American Express permanent? It's Richard Nixon now too, but American Express permanent rewards card for no sign-up fee, and you know, all applications will be approved regardless of whether or not you've had your television repossessed recently. And blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to watch Fargo season 3. You're trying to sell me on a credit card. What do you think I booked the flight with? I don't need another credit card. I used one to be here in the first place. Like, that's what bothers me. It's like you sell food, I get it. People need to eat, and meals shouldn't be necessarily guaranteed to be free on like a domestic short flight. But when you start trying to sell me a credit card mid-air, I'm like, what did I pay you for? Like, you're not paying for this video. And as a result, hopefully you're not too displeased that you're seeing advertisements on it, assuming it hasn't been rendered unfriendly for advertisers the world over. But imagine if I was like, hey, you want this video? That'll be $75. And then halfway through the video, I was like, by the way, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. You'd be like, what are you doing? I don't understand. There would be some people in the comments going, hey, our boys gotta eat, you know? But, you know, it's a little disingenuous. I appreciate the endless support, of course. And if I were in that situation, I'm sure I'd be glad to have you on my side. But and then I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the airlines right now. And now you don't understand, it costs hundreds of billions of dollars to run it. They're flying 12-ton aluminum machines through the sky. I get it, dude. I've looked it up. I'm interested in the business side of aviation, because I always, you know, you look at a flight and you go, oh my god, there's like 130 people on here, and they're paying like a few $100 to maybe even a couple thousand to be on this airplane. That's amazing. And then you're like, how do these companies go out of business? Then you realize, oh my god, to buy a new, like, Boeing 787 is like $195 million or something. So I get it. I'm just saying, we're getting milked on the ads. It's my only suggestion. You ever fly, I don't know, and I guess this is a flight episode of Isaac. If you've never flown before, you might not be able to relate to this. It's only when I started flying a lot that I realized apparently there's like infinity rich people on planet Earth. I'm gonna take it. Why not, dude? Mom's bra. Yeah, it is highly not worth it. But we can then replace this. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I gotta sneeze, then I'm gonna clarify. You're gonna say, NL, there's not a infinity rich people on planet Earth. I know. That's the thing, is that I thought I was aware of like what the you know, the makeup of at least Canada, the United States looked like, economically speaking. You know, you got like 4 Jeff Bezoses who own 98% of the wealth, and then the other 99.99% of the population has, you know, the remainder. But you know, you're on an airplane. I didn't even realize everybody's buying business magazines. I didn't even realize that this is something that people read like for leisure, but apparently it is. Every time I fly, there's always some dude in a suit who's reading a magazine that's like, the headline is like, how to raise your KPIs on your new Agile Manifesto, how to implement daily stand-ups to increase productivity. I don't understand, and I'm being honest with you here. Is it genuine interest, or is it like a posturing thing? And it sounds like I'm being judgmental, and I kind of am. But is it like, I'm flying today, I'm going to put on a suit and buy a magazine that makes people think I'm a big shot? Or are you just at the strange intersection of being smart enough to somehow be mega rich, but yet also kind of naive enough to think that the secrets to your business are going to be contained in a monthly magazine? Like, that's where I'm kind of coming at it from. I loved reading magazines when I was like 13. I was like, oh, I wonder how Nintendo Power feels about this new Nintendo game. I'm sure they're going to give me a nice, unbiased review and criticism of this new Nintendo property that is also the namesake of their company. Like, shouldn't you be reading like a case study, or I have to hit these, unfortunately, or like a book by Dale Carnegie or something? Like, I'm just not in that side of the business, or of any business, so I don't understand. I guess in my mind, I just thought that if the magazine Business Weekly was capable of giving you tips necessary to elevate your business to a high level, why don't the writers at Business Weekly start their own businesses and become like millionaires and billionaires? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Health down. Not interested yet. We got Perthra, we got Yera. We'll take Yera. It's a great run. We're just in kind of a scary situation, but, you know, with 9 lives, it's pretty unlikely to mess this up. By the way, I didn't even lampshade it at all. This is kind of like a nice casual run for me to come back to, for one, but also that, well... Oh, we got Bloody Penny, so... the secondary thing is, that we are still looking for the ability to unlock the Lost. I need to get Mom's box of trinkets. Which I will accept. We have 89 cents now, so we probably could have found... maybe not found it, but had a way to possibly get to it. So, you know, maybe we dropped the ball a little bit here, but again, it's kind of like... Another Yera. It's kind of like a warm-up run for me to come back to, if that makes sense. Which, I hope it doesn't seem... Like, I know I talked a lot about flying in this episode. It's not everybody's favorite thing. It happens... There's, like, NLSS episodes, like, themes. They'll be, oh, this is a flight episode. This is a food episode. It's not everybody's cup of tea, necessarily. I can't believe we didn't get hit. But it is such a strange business, you know? You pay... and then you get thrown through the sky. It happens on trains, too. It is true. If you, like, go on a train, they try to sell you stuff. I don't think I've ever... You know what? It actually... I'm gonna come to the defense of the flight business. Because before we went to New York, you know, we live on the West Coast, and as a result, we are spoiled from a temperature standpoint. Like, I basically had to buy a winter coat to go to Champions of Fire. So I'm glad that I picked up a little prize money, because, I mean, I had to buy, essentially, like, a half of a new winter wardrobe just to handle the temperatures of New York City. But anyway, when I bought it, I went to the store, and I bought the coat, and as I was buying it, they're like, hey, do you want to get, like, another 5% off by signing up for our, you know, in-store credit card? And immediately I was like, no, because I'm, you know, rational. But then, hold up. Onsus, Telepills. It's kind of dicey, but I think we'll just go for it. If we get lucky with this, and we did, we'll probably skip by a little bit of the detritus here. It didn't dawn on me until later that essentially I was paying for a coat that, you know, had been produced in a factory somewhere. And then when I bought it, they were like, hey, before you buy this, here's an ad for a credit card. In retrospect, and maybe I'm becoming like a little too Larry David about it, I'll admit, you know, sometimes you just gotta, you know, swallow your pride and let the lack thereof leave you empty inside. But, I was a little offended. I was like, I'm already your customer. I'm here, I've got, you know, card in hand, and you're like, by the way, here's an ad. Do we really need to do that? I mean, I'm not gonna name the business that I purchased this from, but I will say that probably their largest competitor in Canada went out of business spectacularly, like within the last 3 months or something. So we're still going, yeah. So maybe the business isn't that good, because clearly things are falling apart, but it's the same whenever I buy something at like a clothing store and they go, hey, can we get your email address and phone number? And I'm like, nah. You already got my money. You're good. We don't need to add a whole extra layer of complication in here. You got nothing to worry about. How about it? I'll give you my money and you give me the shirt, and then we just call it even at that point. Maybe I'm just becoming 100. I'm either becoming 100 or like an off-the-grid like conspiracy theorist who's about to live in like a van on his own private Ethernet with Temple OS or something like that. I don't know. Probably not. I admire creature comforts too much. I need them. You know, I love electricity. And let's be honest, if they went, we're not going to give you the shirt until you give us your email address, I'd be pretty annoyed. But then I'd probably be like, you know what? Here's my email address. I'm never coming back, just so you know. Unless you got like a really sweet shirt, in which case I'll be back, no questions asked. But I would be self-righteous about it later. Stop. We're not gonna die. I mean, we might lose a life if you want to classify that as dying, which I think only Isaac muddles that up, really. But in most situations, you do die when you lose your life. In our situation, we're reborn when we lose our lives. So I don't think we're gonna lose, is maybe a better way to describe it. I don't like to lose this, lose this. I don't think we'll lose this, lose this. Wouldn't like to lose this, lose this. Do you think we'll lose this? Maybe the weakest bit of the whole episode, which is saying a lot. I will say that, you know, I think it's a good run. I know it's a good run. But it's not, considering the caliber of items that we've had, I'm a little surprised that it's been less lights out than I think it had any right to be. Like, the fact that we're still kind of like using Crack the Sky says it all to me. Is that despite having, you know, Sacred Heart is the big one, but despite having Sacred Heart and like really decent damage as a result of that, we're kind of looking at this and going, it's not as strong as it probably should be. But I think it actually, and you know, don't shoot the messenger here, I think it comes down to some extent. Oh, absolutely. That's going to change everything here. I think it comes down to some extent to the fact that the blood tears, sometimes the juice ain't worth the squeeze. The fact that we got like such a rate of fire penalty as a result of having these blood tears, I think. I'm not necessarily saying they're bad. What I am suggesting is that I haven't figured out how to use them appropriately yet. Jeez Louise, dude, don't hate me for this, but with 2 HP, it's kind of tough to do the delirium fight, especially knowing we're gonna die, if we die, like 6 times in the process. So I'm just gonna bank a win, get that streak incremented back into the non-zero numbers. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.